All right, it is May the 8th of 2025, and we're excited to keep going in our daily marathon of prayer for Israel, the Jewish people, and got a new guest on today, which is amazing. A quick mention of the fact that we are praying for a number of things, of course. The whole situation with the Pope, we want to see a Pope selected that really stands with Israel, stands for biblical values. And it's kind of funny, isn't it, that when the black smoke goes out of the in the Vatican, that means that they haven't chosen one yet, which is what happened this morning. And so the white smoke is indicating that they've chosen someone and they have not yet, but let's keep praying for the right candidate there. I was mentioning yesterday a comment that a American leader said yesterday on a Zoom I was on, really caught my attention. And he said, back in the era of Ronald Reagan, it was Ronald Reagan working with Pope John Paul that really helped to bring down the Cold War and bring down that, the Berlin Wall and um, the whole communism is because they really did see eye to eye and work together using their influence. And so that really caught my interest, because it's like, what does God want to do with a, really great Pope, let's say, in that position? By the way, 1.4 billion people on the planet are Catholic. So that's pretty significant. Okay, so continuing to pray regarding the Gaza campaign, and on and on. By the way, one other thing is that the statistics are that there's so many more IDF soldiers coming forward with reporting post-traumatic stress disorders. That's another thing. Anyways, I want to introduce Erez Meltzer. He is a lovely man that he and I are both on a board together. It's called the United Rescue Alliance, based out of Abilene, Texas. But he is a businessman. He's coming to us from New York, but he also goes back and forth with Israel. And he's got an incredible story to tell that I wanted us to hear and to appreciate what it's like from somebody inside. But Erez, tell me again, you are involved with business both sides of the ocean, right? In Israel and in America. Over to you, but thank you so much for joining. Bless you.
Yeah, thank you, Patricia. I'm actually involved in the business and global business in the last 40 years. Currently, I'm the CEO of a publicly traded company on NASDAQ called Nanox, and the chairman of Rivolis. After, I would say, almost 40 years as CEO and chairman, I'm dedicating today most of my work to companies who are either dealing with plant health or human health.
Mm.
I had the privilege to run as a CEO three of the top well-known global Israeli brands in various industries. And as mentioned today, Nanox is aiming to do two things. First of all, is to democratize the medical imaging and to give access, make the medical imaging accessible to 2/3 of the world that currently don't have access to medical imaging, with a new revolutionized X-ray system called the ARC. And the second, our AI division is taking applications in the human body and convert the predictive medicine to preventive medicine. So we know to predict diseases that will occur in cardiac and bone density related, in fatty liver, and we are trying to ensure that people will get treated, although sometimes they don't know that they will have this challenge. So this is one. In addition, I'm teaching crisis management as a teaching professor in the Tel Aviv University for the last 18 years. I'm a New Yorker born, but grew all my life, 65 years. When I came to Israel for the first time, last 65 years, I am in Israel, and that's the story.
Wow, that's a lot.
4 children, 8 grandchildren.
Oh, congratulations. That's a big accomplishment right there.
Yeah.
Well, Erez, thank you so much. You're amazing. Really appreciate you. And you and I were chatting a bit ago, and you told me a story that I want you to share because I think everybody on this platform, we are here praying from America, from Canada, from Europe, and other platforms that we have of prayer that's from all over, like South America and beyond. But anyways, but you told me a story that I think would help us really appreciate what it's like to, live in Israel and what they're engaged in right now, because it's one thing to pray from a distance where it's nice and safe and cozy. It's another thing to be there. But share with us years ago what happened. I think it was during one of the intifadas, right? So over to you.
So, okay. Today I'd like to talk about life, death, and resilience. That's the story that I'm going to share because when we talk about, as you know, we have what we call Parashat Shavua, the chapter in the Bible that we read every week. This week is called Achrei Mot, after the death of the two sons of Aaron, and the two chapter afterwards called Kedoshim and more, namely holy, and you will say, and the link between the three of them as the people who are actually uh, giving their thoughts about the Bible is that after death you say good things about people even if they were not. And so right now it's symbolic, very symbolic, the fact that in parallel we have what we call the Omer counting, where the story is about 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva. That was one of the rabbinical, I would say, institutions in the very early days of the Jewish nation. And the story that their death was as a result of the fact that they did not respect each other, and they didn't have the dignity, and they didn't share the love to each other. And it says, or the symbolic is that when they disrespect someone who is studying Torah and studying the Bible, you disrespect the Bible, or disrespect the Torah. So this is the story that we have these days, and these are two stories. But I'm going to share a story about someone who did not, was not willing to be to die or to pass away from this world in such a young age. And I'm going back to March, end of March, 2002. My brother-in-law, his name was Aviel. By the way, the Hebrew meaning of Aviel, it's the father of God, or Godfather, not in the Godfather expression, but the he was a full colonel in the army, in the Israeli military. He was the head of the Israeli Center for Mapping. He was the one to introduce this GIS technology in the very beginning of the state of Israel. He was awarded the Israeli Defense and Security Prize once. So he was a unique individual. At that time, he was 53 years old. And he was just about to travel the week out, on Monday to Washington to present the technology and the innovation that they have conducted in the state of Israel as part of his job. He went with his daughter Anat to the shopping center, and they were trying to buy clothes that will be suitable for the situation. And then he called their son Ofer and his wife Karmit. Karmit is my sister-in-law. She is the sister of my wife Dorit, and they went to have lunch in a restaurant that they usually were used to go like on a weekly basis. Uh, Short story, the suicide bomber came into the store and killed about 16 people. Three of them was Avil, Anat, and Ofer.
Wow.
Karmit, my sister-in-law, actually was injured dramatically, and in the first 24 hours, we knew nothing. I was actually, when the time that it took place, I was in the airport, in the lounge, in the business lounge, waiting for the flight to China as part of my business as the CEO of the largest drip irrigation company in the world, Netafim.
Mhm.
And and all of a sudden, I'm watching the television and I see another terror attack that took place. This was 2 days after the disaster in Park Hotel in Netanya in Israel, where more than 100 people were injured and killed during the Passover, the Leila Seder. And then I was watching, and you know, it become normal to have on a daily basis some terror attack in this place, and I was watching and went back to sit, and then got a call from my wife, and she's saying, Erez, there was a bomb in Matzah restaurant in Haifa, um, and um, and I tried to call Aviel, Anat, Karmit, Ofer. No one is answering the phone. At that time, there was no WhatsApp or something like that. It was just either text message or telephone. And she says, I'm afraid. So I said, okay, I will fly to via Vienna. In the meantime, if there is a need, I will go back. She says, no, no, no. I have a feeling, I have a bad feeling that I have to go back and that I have to run to Haifa and I will take a car and do me a favor, get off the flight.
Okay.
I went off the flight. At the same time, here or there, I would say, my wife, my mother-in-law, she was with a stroke for many years. She was not in real conscious, but she watched the television, and all of a sudden, she saw her daughter coming out of the restaurant in the television, full of blood, and her clothes were torn, and this was a real and these are the moments that you, and this is, by the way, that something that I'm teaching. These are the moments that you have to switch from emotional situation to rational action. And um, and since Albert Einstein used to say that most of the problems of the world will be solved in a space which is different from the one that they were created in, it's the same. So every event like this is emotional, and what we have to treat and the solution and to get over it is in the rational way. So the first one was to get a rational decision to take the cable of the television at home that my mother-in-law will not be able to see, and this was one decision. The other decision was that it was interesting how amazing is my sister-in-law Kermit, that she was taken in the ambulance to the hospital, and then she said, "Where are you taking me?" To the paramedics, and they said, "We're taking you to Bnei Zion, which is the smallest hospital because your injured is not so severe, and we have
Mm.
some severe action." And she said, "No, take me to Rambam, the biggest hospital in
Mm.
Israel," because she had in mind that if there is a severe situation with her husband and the two children, they will
Yeah.
be taken to Rambam. She wanted to be with them. And they said, no, 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 we are taking. So as she is with the blood and she came out of the ambulance and she said, I'm going to get out of the ambulance if you're not going to take me Rambam. So they switched. Um, the direction, and they went to Rambam. It didn't help because they actually were already dead, and it was interesting that a few years later, I would say about 10 or 12 years later, when I'm teaching in the university, one of the students says, the training officer of MADA, and your story, and I'm sharing the story, said your story is part of the training that all the paramedics are going through. How do you take the decision of someone who is injured, where to be taken in terms of the hospital?
Wow.
So um, this was 23 years ago. The one thing I can tell you is that this feeling of loss is not over.
Mm,
And the other thing that I want to share with you is the fact that sometimes people are thinking that those who were either dead or killed in events like the one that we had in the Intifada or the one that we had lately with the October 7, these are the people who were actually affected. And the real people who are affected are the people who actually were left behind here and have to live with a loss.
mm,
In October 7, this disaster actually came to place, and the number of people who were affected, and I have a lot of employees. There is no family in Israel that is not somewhere, somehow,
mm,
indirectly related to someone who actually had a loss, or have someone in the war that was impacted by this challenge. And I think the this notion is that we in Israel we have to live on our sword, as called by the Bible, and this is something that you can have your own choice. What do? Whether you build your resilience,
mm,
and you ask yourself, okay, that's what happened. We lost the people. Now, what do I do next? What do I pray for myself? What I'm asking from God that will impact my life? And I think this is a daily way of thinking that we have to deal with the so many people who are traumatized from this. And one small piece of action that was a result of the story that is said, that it's an interesting one. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the YPO, the Young President Organization, which is an American organization by origin, but it's a global for young people who are president. And the idea is to be better president by idea exchange and education.
mm,
And it's a big network. Now, I was a member of the YPO in the last 35 years, and I was a member, but I was not very active at that time.
mm,
And I thought I would peacefully retire from the YPO when I get 49 or 50, because then you are becoming the olders, or the WPO, but what is called right now the YPO Gold. Anyhow, um, I was driving to the funeral of Avil and Atenoffer, and I got a phone call from someone in the Bay Area, who is saying, Erez, um, we are hosting in the YPO, one of the universities in Boston. We are hosting a half day that will be dedicated to the conflict in the Middle East.
mm,
We know that you know how to talk, and we know what that you can share with us a lot of insights on this situation. So I told the guy from the YPO, I said, I was a YPO, but I told him, you caught me in the worst possible time. I didn't explain why, but I will give you a call in about a week after the Shiva.
mm,
But my answer is yes, I will be on the call.
mhm,
7 days later, I called the guy and I said, I'll be on the call. I cannot come to present, but I will be on a video.
mm,
And the day after the 30th day of the event, of the funeral, I was on the call with um, two people from Jordan, two people from Saudi, one people from Pakistan, one from Kuwait, one from Egypt, one Palestinian, two Americans, and one from Libya. So I was the only Israeli on the call. I shared the story, and somebody else shared the story. and people in the audience actually were really crying about what happened. But few hours later, after the call, it was a real hell of experience, and we were asked a lot of tough questions about leadership and about the peace. And a few hours later, I got a lot of phone calls that said, "How come there is no chapter in Israel?" And as a result of it, in November 2002,
Mm,
by the way, I was told that tell us what you do, what would you need, and we'll help you to do it. By the way, in the YPO, it means that you will do it by yourself, but it's okay. Long story short, November 2002, Shimon Peres, our president, was the keynote speaker at the opening of the chapter, and today, the Israeli chapter of the YPO is about 150 people altogether. That's great. So. What's the lessons learned from what I want to talk to you? First of all, I remind you the students of Rabbi Akiva that respect each other, trust each other, trust and respect, and what we call love without any borders,
mm,
and respect every man, every human being by what he is and what she is. This is one. The second is that turn every event, that even if it's a bad event, to resilience and it's both family, personal, and organizational. And accept the fact that these kind of events are not really over.
mm,
Um, the next one is remember those who actually left, but remember that every day we have to live and we have to stick to life and to pray for better future and to ask from God to make
mm,
our lives meaningful and that we will be able to have the privilege to have an impact. Don't ask yourself why it happened to me,
mm,
and but ask yourself what can I learn out of it and how can I be better from each one of this event, and what's next, what will be the next one, as we say, עושה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. I'd like to pray for Karmit. I'd like to pray for the family. I'd like to pray for the hostages in
yeah,
Gaza to be back, and to pray for the families that they will be strong enough to overcome these relations. I'd like to pray for Israeli strong. I know that it's not an easy one to think these
yeah.
days about it, and it doesn't seem like it's getting better. I'm not going to go into politics, but I will ask Israel. Israel is probably stronger than any of their our leader, and we hope that it will be okay, and that pray to God that He will give me the power to make an impact and to live life with a meaningful purpose.
Amen. Well, if you came on late, this is Erez, who just shared about his brother-in-law and the two children who were killed by a suicide bomber in a shopping store. Absolutely tragic. And could I just ask the wife who survived, your sister-in-law, just how is she doing right now? You just like just quickly, but you said that obviously it stays with you. It's not like you can just get over this, but I'm just what a tragedy, the trauma that she went through. Is how is she today?
She's okay. She made a decision that she's too heavy to someone new to get married, so she stay alone. But she's trying to be alive. She's traveling a lot. She's getting. We actually hugged her as part of the family. Just as an example, when my daughter got married, so she and my wife and myself, we escort her to the chuppah together. She's
Uh,
invited. She's part of our family group, the WhatsApp family WhatsApp group. She's part of each one of the events.
yeah,
Our children actually treat her like another mom or very
right.
close aunt, and
That's good.
she's okay. She made a decision to leave, and she said probably there is something from God that stayed that may make her stay alive.
Wow. All right, Erez, thank you for sharing. It's absolutely tragic. I want us to really grasp what it's like to live in that kind of environment where you can't safely go shopping. Anyways, I guess that happens in America, but way different. This is a intifada. This is a terrorist attack just because they're Jewish. You know, as we know, as we're seeing the trauma that the nation is undergoing. I'm going to just stop the recording.